today, guys, we're going to discuss 3 focuses or 3 key areas for saving your business from corruption and losses. Let me first define what is corruption and who is a corrupt person. Corruption is defined as a person corruptly gives or promises something of value to a public official with the intent to influence an official act or decision. It is an exchange of influence to get something, just like the illegal gratuity. An illegal gratuity is something of value given or promised to a public official with the intent to carry favor or thank the official for a previous favorable action. And this differs from a bribe because the intent of the exchange is not to affect an official act. Sometimes this illegal gratuity is a sign of giving thanks to somebody who gave you a favor, which is not appropriate in our society. Now, the harsh is extortion. Extortion occurs when a person uses threat, intimidation, and coercion to compel another person to willingly relinquish money, goods, services, or in the case of extorting an official for a favorable future action or decision. Now, we are focused on 3 key areas on how to save your company from losses and corruption. So, here we have the focus on 3. We are focusing on 3 factors: corruption and bribery, losses and connivance, and unethical practices. I could easily discuss this in an environment where the actual event is happening. Corruption and bribery. Bribery is giving something. It can be in good, it can be in cash or in kind. Bribery is giving something to a person you are dealing with in order to get a favor for his or her decision, a decision that will favor you. I'm talking between buyer and supplier, that possibly it is the supplier who may initiate bribery in order to get your decision to purchase from them. What is corruption? And we had discussed before about corruption, okay? And then bribery happens in purchasing to get favor or to approve your purchase order. Now, in second factor is losses and connivance. Losses and connivance, we're talking here about inbound and outbound. What are the possible losses that may happen in outbound? Outbound logistics or outbound transaction. Overshipments may happen if there is a connivance between security guard or gate guard and the issue clerk or the stock picking clerk or stock picking staff conniving with drivers and security guards in order to favor a client, a dealer, or a distributor or a customer. Overshipment is one of the connivance that is happening for outbound. overshipment is shipping an order more than what is purchased by the customer, giving more than what is the actual quantity purchased. Or losses can be in substitution, substituting an item from lower grade to higher grade, that the customer may order grade B, but the stock picker or the warehouse people give grade A, which is more expensive, just like in a stainless steel. Grade A in a stainless steel like SS304, let's say one piece may cost 50,000 pesos, and the grade A may cost 80,000 pesos, so there is a difference of 30,000 per piece. So substituting an item from lower grade to higher grade, or vice versa, from higher grade to lower grade, whichever will favor the buyer or the customer. Now let us go to the unethical practices in supply chain. Unethical practices covers both purchasing and warehousing. In warehousing, unethical practices is receiving an item which is not covered by PO or purchase order, or receiving an item which is not compliant with the quality or specification. Connivance may happen between buyer, supplier, and receiving clerk. So there might be three possible involvement of staff: the sales agent, the purchaser, and the receiving clerk. But the receiving clerk will connive with the purchasing to accept the items to be delivered today, let's say today, by supplier ABC, that the ordered items were of higher grade but they are delivering of lower grade, which means this is overpriced. Okay. The three factors that have been mentioned here are corruption and bribery, losses and connivance, and then unethical practices. Unethical practices are those transactions being done beyond the company policy or ethical guidelines. Gift giving, is it allowed? If gift giving is allowed, how much is accepted? 50 pesos, would that be considered a gift? Or 100 pesos, or more than 500 pesos, would that still be considered a gift? When is a gift considered be a gift, and when is a gift considered to be a bribe? Okay. Corruption and bribery happens in the supply chain, particularly purchasing. What are the examples of what are the possible outcomes of corruption and bribery? Overbuying by purchaser, that will benefit the supplier. Overbuying and overpricing. Okay. Now, losses and connivance may happen for inbound and outbound transaction in logistics. It's either short receipt of items from the supplier, that the quantity delivered by the supplier is less than the actual purchase order based on PO. If we ordered 10, they delivered only 8 or less, or whatsoever, whichever will favor the supplier. Okay, so these are the possible that may happen in supply chain management. I just focus on 3 factors. Now, what are the preventative measures against corruption and losses? Number 1, create procurement policies what to do and what not to do. And this include guidelines including procurement ethics as well. This applies to all employees, not only to purchasing people and to warehouse people or to supply chain personnel. This applies to all employees. And then improve our recruitment process, that the number one criteria should be knowledge and honesty. Job rotation may be required or suggested to be required, that a person who is staying for more than 5 years in the same job, the same function, may possibly manipulate the documents and the operation as well as the function. So job rotation, okay. So it's better that each person knows each other's job. There should be a backup personnel. Let's say in purchasing, there should be job rotation among personnel within the department or within the supply chain division. If there is a rampant corruption that cannot be prevented even by auditors, internal and external auditors, we suggest the total revamp as well the review of policies. Number one is to create procurement policies and guidelines including ethics, and this covers also the logistics department. As well for HR, we have to improve the recruitment process, practice job rotation. Rotation can happen within the division or maybe rotation among other departments or division. If totally there is a proven losses and corruption in the organization, we suggest total revamp and review of policies, because the policy may be aging and no longer applicable, especially right now because of technology. Okay. And what are the red flags of corruption and bribery? How can we know that somebody is doing inappropriately or maybe doing corruption? Okay. So we have the so-called red flags of corruption and bribery that may result to losses and bankruptcy. Number one is changing lifestyle. Lifestyle is an indicator that a fraudster cannot hide. The lifestyle is changing. Okay. And the red flag employee may be spending more than what he earns. It's easy to audit a person by the lifestyle rather than procedure. And sign of red flags: handling similar position for more than 5 years. This is what I had mentioned before. And red flags solution there should be a regular job rotation. And red flag is check your policies and procedure if this is still applicable after 5 years. Up to now, if the present policies and procedure still applies, especially now that we are aligning to technology as well to ISO 9000 requirements on documentation. Another red flag is no specific criteria for supplier selection and evaluation. Okay, there should be a standard criteria for selecting and evaluating suppliers. Another sign of red flag is weak recruitment process, palakasan system, or whom you know. Okay, these are the signs of red flag. So guys, I hope I have given at least some of the glimpse of how to save your business from corruption and losses. Thank you very much.